Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Unretired AF podcast, the podcast created especially for the over 60 rebel rouser crowd. Well, remember when fun didn't require Wi Fi? When the only screen in the house was your TV and you only had 3 channels?
Yeah. Yeah. Today we're going to go back and talk about life before the internet. Well, I'm Jim. This is my wife, Tav. We're the host of the Unretired AF podcast, and we welcome you to our live stream.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much for joining us.
Yes, this is our second one.
Yeah. How about that?
So we're still learning, but we're doing better than last time.
We are. Sorry. Had a bit of a blooper there.
You know what? It was great. It was awesome. All right. So we're going to talk about what life was like back when we were kids and teenagers. And hello, WA. Thank you so much for joining us here. All right. We're going to be talking about toys and games before screens. And like, what did that look like? Like, what did you do when you were a kid with toys and games?
Well, I guess everything with me when I was a kid revolved around two things: my bicycle and sports.
Oh.
Now,
Three things.
Huh?
3 things. The ocean.
Well, I was just getting to that.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So, G.I. Joe was big back then.
Right.
Army men were big back then. I can remember being very, very young. What are the little blocks called? Legos.
Did they have Legos when we were kids? I don't remember Legos.
Toys.
Tinker Toys and Lincoln Logs.
Or Lincoln Logs, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't remember when Legos came out.
I don't know. I remember I had a.
I remember them when my son was little because I stepped on one, so I was.
I remember I had a electric race car set.
Right.
And I remember I had
Hot Wheels.
An HO electric train.
Okay.
So the bike though was everything because the bike equaled freedom.
Right.
And we would get my parents were big card players. I guess they'd have friends over and play pinochle and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Well, we figured out real quick that if you got a clothespin and you used a clothespin on your front fork.
Oh yeah, we did that.
Oh, you
with
had
a card.
You had a motor
with
then
a card,
on your
right?
So
we did that.
We had no limit. I grew up in South Mississippi, and Biloxi was about 15 miles or so from where I grew up, and we'd think nothing of just getting on our bike, 4 or 5 of us, and taking off down the beach.
Right.
So
right.
Highway 90 was big then, but it had a real big wide cement area at the breakwater. So we were never really in fear of getting hit or doing that.
We didn't even think about stuff.
Think about that. Didn't have a helmet on.
Right.
Half the time
survived.
Didn't even have shoes on.
We survived. And we were not I don't want to say if you did this. But I was never one of the type that, people put a rubber band around their legs so their their bell bottoms wouldn't get caught in the chain.
Pants? What is that?
Well, I'm from Illinois. I was not from a warm place. So if we wanted to ride our bike when it was, 45 degrees outside, and, we were wearing long pants but I would never put a rubber band. I see people with rubber band on their pant leg on the side with the chain.
Yeah.
So they're, I would rather just endo.
That would get a water balloon.
I would rather get endo. I would rather get endo.
That would get a water balloon thrown out or a bottle rocket shot at them.
I mean, it was crazy times back then. And before we go too much further, we want to say, what games or toys kept you busy before the internet came on? So I'll tell my story while you guys are writing out your comments, and we'll read them on the air so you can tell us what games or toys did you guys do before the internet? I mean, for me, I did a lot of board games. I mean, we were doing, was it aggravation or was Chinese checkers? The one where you go around and somebody can get on you and send you back to the beginning again and you get pissed off with the little marbles, different colors.
I think that's
a Chinese checkers.
Trouble, maybe?
No, it was way before Trouble. It was like old school before.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know.
Before all that, and I played, and I would play Chaz. I would play backgammon. We played that too. We played Operation, with the little tweezers, and it would make if you hit the side and light up. So that was pretty fun. We did that too. I also was I was in the 80s, in the early 80s. I was going to the arcade. All the time, going to the arcade, playing all the video games. I played Galaga. That was my game. I could flip that machine. I loved it. The Star Wars game that you sat in, I liked that one too.
Wow.
There was one called Tapper. It was like you were like a bartender, and you were like slinging beer down the bar at everybody, and then every level it would change. So there'd be like a biker bar, and then like a punk rock bar, then like a country bar.
Wow.
Yeah. So we did a lot of that stuff, and my parents played cards too. So I never learned though. They never taught me pinochle or anything like that. So we have WA saying Rummy 500 cards. Rummy, we played Rummy, Gin Rummy. We did that too. That was pretty fun. Yeah, we liked that. All right. The next thing, where we hung out. We weren't just at home. Where were we? You can go first. Where did you hang out?
So I guess it would depend on age, but I was always out of the house doing some kind of sport, or going to the beach, or going fishing, or going to a bar, or.
Well, and let us know where you hung out. Where did you hang out?
Where did you hang out?
Where did you and your friends hang out before the internet? When you were, well, Mike's younger than we are, so I'm guessing. Where did you hang out in the 90s? I'm guessing, right? We were children of the 70s and 80s. You're probably the mall. The mall. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, we went. I would go to the mall too sometimes.
Yeah, I was just fortunate that we generally had nice weather all the time. I grew up in a beach environment. I had owned my first boat when I was 10. So I was an adventurist. I mean, we had some islands right offshore. I'm thinking nothing of going out to 6 miles out to the islands in my little 14-foot skiff with my 9.9 on. I was Robinson Crusoe shit then, man.
It was just different. Like, I know I was out by myself. I mean, we would literally get kicked out, and don't come back until dark. And we didn't care.
No.
I mean, we didn't want to be inside the house.
No.
We wanted to be outside.
Right.
And so Mike says Cherry Hill Mall and bike rides. Absolutely. Bike rides, all the time bike rides. I remember riding bikes. I lived in the country. The closest house to me in Central Illinois, the closest house to me was a mile away. And that was my best friend, Gail. And her brother, John, was a Dennis the Menace, probably ended up in prison. I don't know. But I remember riding my bike past their house, and he shot me in the neck with a BB gun, shot me off my bike. And I went in the house, and I think I've told you the story.
Yeah.
I threw a blanket over him and hit him with a folding chair. And he never messed with me again. That was, I think I was in 7th grade.
So WA remembers playing hide and seek, capture the flag, dodgeball, and jump roping.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome. We did a lot of that, of hide and seek and capture the flag. I remember that one. We did kick the can too. And we did, what else did we do?
Yeah, that's a good point, Mike.
Wasn't there one rover something? Send something over.
I could say something there, but it wouldn't be appropriate.
And people were in lines, and you would walk forward or back or whatever. There were no fences. That's right. Mike said there were no fences. That's how it was in Central Illinois too. All the backyards just all blended together.
Yeah.
Except my grandparents. My grandfather put shrubs all around the backyard because he didn't want the kids in it, and they just got really good at jumping over them. So.
Pretty much where I grew up, everybody had fences.
And Mike says you could walk through yards back then. Now everyone has a fence, and that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have anything. It was all open.
Yeah.
All open. Some people had playhouses that their dads had made. One was like a 2-story playhouse, and we would go up there, and we had so much fun. We had so much fun.
Yeah.
And let's see. We have WA says would have to come home when the streets turned on. That is the truth. That's
Yep.
what we had too. Or even more embarrassing for me, my grandmother, because my parents divorced when I was young. We moved in with my grandparents, with my sister and my mom and I. And my grandmother would go out on the front porch with a bell and she would ring it. And she was Southern. She was from Kentucky. And she would ring this bell and she would call our names out like yodeling. And everybody would make fun of us because it's like, you have to go home now. There's the bell. It was like, we don't want that. All right. So next one, where we hung out. Did we do that one where we hung out?
Yeah, we did most of that.
But we missed some stuff. Did you guys ever go to the drive-in? Like my family went to the drive-in all the time. We'd bring blankets. We would bring lawn chairs. My mom would pack a cooler because we were, kind of poor. So she didn't want to spend the money at the concession stand. So she would bring our own popcorn and our own, food and stuff. And so we did a lot of that. We went to the bowling alley. Did you guys bowl? Anybody bowl? We did bowling. That was.
I remember as a kid being in a bowling league.
There you go.
On Saturday morning.
There you go.
At the Navy base.
I mean, we did that too. The mall, and Mike already said that he liked the mall, and I guess that was it for where we hung out.
So I was always I was very fortunate that at a very young age, I was exposed to live music. And we had a number of places.
Well, we have to go to topic 3.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Topic 3, which is music and movies, old school style. Okay, Jim.
So, again, this was all bicycle related, but growing up on the Gulf Coast, it was pseudo kind of a playland, but very much military town. So there was this place in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi called Dock of the Bay. And it was right on the other side. We had to ride our bike across I think at that time it was 3-mile causeway to go on the other side. Some of the best fishing there was. Well, I must have been 12 or 13. And we were sitting there and this guy pulls up in a sailboat and didn't have any idea who he was or what he was. And then he started playing, sitting on his boat. And it was like right there. The slip was right there. The whole thing was there. And come to find out, it was Jimmy Buffett.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
He was just kind of sailing the Gulf and stopped in there. And I can honestly say until he quit, well, that's not true because I went to a lot of Jimmy Buffett concerts.
So you're a parrot head.
Yeah, I definitely was a parrot head. Definitely. And I was lucky to be exposed to a lot of places growing up where I did that had live music.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have WA said, loved bowling candle pins. I bowled candlepin bowling when I went to Maine.
I don't know what that is.
When I went to Maine, it's a smaller ball. If I'm not mistaken, it was a smaller ball. And then instead of the pins being sort of chubby and tall, there's like a straighter pin.
Like skee ball?
No, not like skee. What? It's a pin.
Well, I'm asking. I've never done it.
It's a bowling pin, and it's the same as a regular bowling pin. Yeah, smaller balls. I remember it was a smaller ball. Sort of seemed like a bocce ball type of size, maybe a little bigger than that.
Huh.
And you don't put your fingers into it. I don't think. I think you just threw it. But we had so much fun as I went to a wedding in Maine, and Cape Elizabeth, Point Elizabeth, Cape Elizabeth, Maine, and we went candlepin bowling, and it was so much fun. We had a great time.
That's great. That's
all right.
Great.
And then Mike says Rocky 2 in the movies. People would cheer in the movie theater. Now, Mike, were you in Philadelphia when that came out, or were you in New Jersey when that came out? Because I can imagine if you saw that movie in Philadelphia, people would have definitely been cheering and losing it because that was amazing.
Adrian!
I mean, Philadelphia was like another character in the movie. Oh, okay, all right.
New Jersey.
Still, they were excited though for it, right?
Adrian!
Stop it. I remember going to the movies. I remember 2 significant movies from my youth. One, I went and saw Star Wars, the original Star Wars. Thankfully, my parents were kind of sci-fi geekish kind of people, which I love. And they took us to the first Star Wars at the Cine Capri in Scottsdale, Arizona. And we waited, gosh, a couple of hours to get in to see it. And I was just like amazed. I just couldn't even believe that it was real. And then the second movie that was really impacting to me, we lived in Central Illinois at the time. I lived in Chillicothe outside of Peoria, and they had the Rialto Theater there. And I saw Saturday Night Fever, and I was underage. I think I was 16, and I think it was an R-rated movie. I don't think they were supposed to let me in, but they did. And that was like the beginning of disco, and it was amazing. It was amazing. All right. And Mike says, but they were near Philly. Okay. So that must have been an amazing experience to have seen Rocky near Philadelphia. That must have been amazing. Stop. All right. Now, who else listened to Casey Kasem on the radio?
Oh, yeah.
And then I got a radio that had a tape player in it, so that when my favorite song came on, you could hurry up and hit record. So, yeah. And Mike says, my mom loved John Travolta. I love John Travolta too. It was great in that movie. He didn't play a very nice guy if he was your boyfriend, but if he was your dance partner, that would have been all right. So anyway, and then we already talked about going to the drive-in.
Right.
That was amazing experience going to the drive-in. So
I can't remember. I remember going to the drive-in with my parents, and we would sit in the back of the truck in lawn chairs, and my mom too would bring all kinds of food, and they'd sit there drinking their toddies, and we'd have whatever, Generally, I grew up in Barks root beer land, so we'd have a Barks root beer, but popcorn and everything that my mom made. But I just don't remember any of the titles. I really don't. I just didn't watch that much TV when I was growing up.
Well, that wasn't TV.
I know, but I'm just saying, as far as entertainment for that kind of stuff, I just didn't.
Oh, no. We had.
Oh, I agree with you, WA.
You got to read it because
watching Jaws scared the heck out of me as a kid.
I know. I read the book and then I saw the movie, and it was really freaky. I mean, it was really, really scary. I didn't want to go in the ocean.
After Jaws came out, you should have seen us in the boat then, man. It was like everything that moved.
And they're not even great whites over there where you were.
No, but they got big ass tiger sharks and hammerheads.
That's funny. Well, and Mike says Sherry even listened to Casey Kasem, American Top 40. Every week we listened to that, to Casey Kasem, American Top 40. That was great.
I remember it was big time, man, when the cassette tape came out instead of the 8-track, and you could record.
I did.
I know.
That's
I'm saying.
You. Yeah.
I'm older than you are. I started out with 8-track.
He's 3 years older than me, and sometimes he tries to pull that, like he knows stuff.
And wiser. And wiser.
Because he's a little older.
And wiser. But you know what I'm saying.
I do.
I mean, I'm sure
I had 8-track because did you guys do Columbia House Records? Well, and there was another one. It was Columbia House.
Oh yeah.
What was the other one? Do you remember? Was Columbia
House? What was the other one? Columbia House, and what was the other one?
Well, anyway, I signed up for both of them, and you got like 20 records for a penny or something that. And then you had to pay, and buy one and send a card back. If you didn't send the card back, they automatically sent it to you. So I got a lot of crap I didn't want.
Columbia House, and golly, that'll bother me now.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up.
Oh, yeah, but had tons of them.
Yeah. Well, I got 8-tracks on there. And I remember I got like John Denver, Styx, Boston, Bob Seger. So much good music.
And that was a time where it was all good as long as it was loud. Didn't matter.
Well, everything wasn't good because you have to remember too. Remember that one Rubber Ducky or whatever Rubber Duck song. They played that one all the time loud, and it wasn't good. I like the premise of it, but it wasn't good.
Right.
It wasn't
right.
good.
Right.
All right. So anyway, that I think we covered the music. You went to live concerts. I didn't go to a lot of live music back then. I went to the state fair, the Central Illinois State Fair, and they had, like I saw Roger Miller, who I loved, but, I don't think you guys probably even know. Yeah. So Mike says, Babe and Mr. Is it Mr. Roboto? Sticks. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Oh, Cheap Trick. I like them
Yeah.
too. So much good music. Trampton Comes Alive. That record came out. I think I wore that out because I played it every single day.
Christopher Cross.
Hotel California from
Boston.
the Eagles. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you name it. That was
Roboto.
when there was good music, man.
Okay. Now we're going to go to the social side of life where we didn't have this. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have X or Instagram or TikTok or any of that. Cheap Trick was your first concert, WA. That's awesome.
That's cool.
I love them. They were so good. All right. So, we had to connect with people in more face-to-face ways than we do now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, for you, I'm guessing that you probably got on your bike and went to your friends.
Well, we can talk about that. So, no, there was a bus that took us to school. Okay. So then everybody would make plans on what you were going to do that night or on the weekend. If you were fortunate enough to have somebody that had a car, then you would do that. But our big thing was meeting on the beach and having bonfires.
Okay.
And that was like, and sometimes, there'd be a couple hundred people at our bonfires. They were huge.
What beach was that?
Just in Gulfport.
Okay.
Or Long Beach, or just wherever the wood was the easiest to find to burn for it. And somebody always showed up with a keg, and it was
a different time.
It was just different.
Like, how did I remember going to all these keg parties when I was in high school. How did we get all that beer? I don't remember.
Well, for us, we drive to Slidell because they never asked for ID.
Oh, well, and the drinking
age. So we'd have 35
was,
minutes to Slidell.
And the drinking age was 18 there?
18,
so you could easily get
in Louisiana at the time, I think it was 17.
Okay.
But I was the one that had an old truck, and one of my friends, their family owned an ice house. So
what's an ice house?
They make ice. They make ice for the fishing industry. And
it really was an ice house.
Yeah, it was an ice house.
I heard people talk about ice house like a bar, and it's not. They're not making ice.
So a true ice house at a bar is one that has garage doors open.
Okay.
And they roll it up.
Roll up doors. Okay.
And I mean, in Mississippi, they'd have a big block of ice and a fan behind it to create cool air.
Okay. All right.
So anyway, we'd get 3 kegs in the back of my truck, and then we go to the ice house, fill it up with ice. And
Mike's asking, is that Louisiana or Mississippi, Jim?
Mississippi.
Yeah, Mike. They would go to Louisiana and get the beer.
Yeah, we go to Slidell because they were very lenient on ID. And what else is crazy too is I don't remember, and maybe it happened and I just don't remember it, but I don't remember anybody dying from DUI.
No, we talked about that.
Yeah.
It was just a different time.
It was a different time.
And the cars were made better too.
Yeah. So my youth as a teenager.
And we're not condoning it.
No. My youth as a teenager was probably a lot of outdoor stuff, fishing, being in a boat, and drinking.
Right.
And partying with friends.
I mean, I think when you live in a small town, I grew up in a small town in my teenage years. And I mean, there's a lot of alcohol related activities back then, just simply because there weren't a lot of things for us to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's still like that in small towns. I don't know. It might be different now that with the internet and there's, more to do. I don't know.
Like for us, Friday night was always football night in the winter. Friday night was football night.
Right.
What did you guys do on after a game or before a game?
Right. And Mike says you didn't need to wear seatbelts either. Exactly.
No, you didn't.
And the cars were tanks. I mean, honestly, I don't even remember anybody getting injured in a car accident when I was young, like you hear about now. It was just, they were just different.
Yeah.
They were just different.
Yeah.
I mean, they were solid metal and whatever.
Right.
I mean, I think, which was this on the social side? I mean, I think for me, which you and I talked about this, the phone was a huge deal for girls. Yeah. I don't know if it was the same for guys when you were teenagers, but for girls, and we had one of those phones that hung on the wall in the kitchen with a cord that
Harvest Gold or Avocado Green?
Harvest Gold, Harvest Gold, and it had a cord that was like a mile long, I swear.
Yeah.
And I would pull it. I'd call my friend. I'd pull that cord and stretch it out and go in the bathroom and close the door. That was privacy back then, you know. And if anybody had to use the bathroom, because we only had one bathroom, and they'd be banging on the door, get off the phone, get off the phone.
Now, did you have the party line?
We did for a short time.
Yeah.
We did for a short time, and we shared our party line with Ines Hayes, who was the biggest gossip in our town. And she was always listening and telling everybody in town what we were saying, which, how exciting could it have been? I was like 7th grade, you know.
Yeah.
But she was funny. And it's funny, you know, it's just funny when you think about those days, because I think kids today have a lot more privacy than we did, because when we were out and about, even though we were out and doing stuff outside, any adult in our town had like license to correct us, to deal with us as children. You know, if we were bad, we knew by the time we got home that, that we were going to be in trouble, because they would have called our parents and told on us or whatever. Let's see. Mike says, we had corded phones at 13. Now kids get cell phones and bring them to school. Isn't that crazy? I think they should have to put them in their locker or something. I think that would be so distracting to be a teacher. I can't imagine how difficult that would be. Well, you were a teacher, weren't you, Mike? How was that when you were teaching and having kids in the classroom with a cell phone or a laptop or a tablet? I would think that would be extremely difficult as a teacher, try to hold these kids' attention who were already, probably having a hard time holding their attention without all that stuff. So, okay. And how else did we connect? A lot of times we went to clubs. I mean, I think we've talked about it before. I mean, when we were in high school, we were going to clubs that we never got in trouble doing that. It was just a different time. I
was always big for my age. At 16, I was a bouncer at a couple clubs.
Yeah.
And they never asked me for an ID. And here I was throwing people out that were,
isn't that crazy?
Much older. But
isn't that crazy?
I learned quick how to take a punch. So,
or a foot.
or whatever.
He'll tell you sometime the story of getting karate kicked in the face by a military guy, right?
Well, now that you've done it. So I was I worked at this place called the Robert E. Lee.
And Jim is 6'2", if you don't know, because he don't see us standing up. He's 6'2".
So this was a converted riverboat that was tied and I guess semi-cemented in to the beach. So it had a long gangplank, and there was water underneath the gangplank. And then it had a rail on the whole outside. And this boat was probably, honestly, it was probably 200 to 300 foot long, 4 or 5 decks. It was like party central.
Okay.
Well, right across the street from it was Keesler Air Force Base. Down about 10 miles was the Gulfport Seabee base. So there was a lot of young military guys that Navy thought they were the best. The Air Force thought they were the best. So fights would break out.
Gotcha.
Well, I was like the best at holding my own, because I had a guy tell me, if you're going to strike, strike first. So I had this instance where there were these guys that were acting rowdy, and there was this very small, and I'm talking, if he was a 5-foot Asian guy, I'm giving him a couple inches. He was very small, tiny guy. Well, I was there. I told him they had to leave, and he said, we'll leave when we want to leave. And I said, no, I'm telling you right now, I will throw you over this rail if you don't leave. Well, the next thing I know, I had been kicked in the face like 14 times and didn't even see it. Oh, he was so fat. Well, come to find out, he was teaching martial arts to the airmen. So that was I mean, a grade A #1 ass whipping. But I was there the next weekend. So,
Well, that's a funny story. And Mike
yeah.
says, Jim, you could have been in the Navy. You were always on boats.
You know, my father was in the military, and he did not want me to join the military.
He was in the Navy.
He was in the Navy, and
Karate Kid. That's right.
he went through Vietnam, and he just made me promise him that I would not go into the military. So,
yeah.
I mean, I was even to the point where I could have got an appointment to Annapolis, and I chose not to. So, yeah. And I was on boats. I was on boats all the time, and I love it. I love that I was able to have that opportunity to grow up like that.
I mean, I think about like, what year did you guys all get internet? I know for me, the first year that we got internet was 1993. And I was a legal secretary back then. And my son was just born, and I was home with him, and I was trying to make some extra money. And I was also in college. And so I bought a computer. It was I can't remember what brand of computer it was, but it was like $2,500. And I got CompuServe, and that was the first internet that I got. And I was typing term papers for other students, and that was our first time. And then seemed like it was the next summer was the summer when they were mailing out all the AOL discs, CDs to everybody. Remember when they were sending those out? Like, you could have. I think that summer we probably got, I'm not even lying, like 20 of them in the mail. The AOL CD in the mail. And
then remember when you would first go on, you'd like pray, please don't anybody call. Please don't anybody call. Please don't anybody call.
Well, and then I remember too, it was like $30 a month. And then it was like $2.99 an hour if you went over 20 hours a month. So I remember my AOL bill, there were some months that it was probably like, I'm going to say my AOL bill was maybe, I'm not joking, it would probably be $200. And I remember my first website was in 1995 that I did. And I was paying like, I want to say I was paying like $50 a month for it.
Yeah.
It was insane. So let's see here. Mike says, I remember early email in University of Delaware in 81, 82. Wow, I didn't even know.
I think he meant 91, 92.
91, 92. Okay. I was going to say, I mean, I know that the military had it back then, right? The internet.
I think they had a lot of intranet, because I remember as a young guy in the oil field, we had intranet.
Right.
But I don't remember it until the 90s.
Yeah.
How about you, WA? Do you remember when you got internet?
Yeah, it was like crazy. It was crazy. I see we have a few more people on now. If you remember when you first got the internet, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
We would love to hear. And what was it? Like when you got yours, Mike, was it AOL or was it something? 91, that's pretty early. I don't think AOL was out in 91. Would that have been CompuServe? Because that was, for me, that was 93 with CompuServe. And I don't know if there was anything else before that. I was pretty much an early adopter for stuff. I mean,
I remember IBM was making machines then. Gateway was making machines then.
Internet, Mike says Internet Windows 95. So what was that? Internet
Windows 95.
I remember Windows because I had that at work. I was, like I said, I was a legal secretary, and I was using Word Perfect. Word wasn't even on the scene yet.
Compact, very good. Yes.
Yeah.
Good catch.
Gotcha. So I remember I was using Word Perfect. Word wasn't, or if it was out, it was not dominating at that time. Word Perfect was dominating the what did they call it? A word processing programs. Word processing. Yep. So Word Perfect was what all the law firms that I worked at. I mean, I did it on DOS. I worked on DOS with the green screen, and it just felt like you could see the matrix. I mean, I used all the codes, and you could just read what it was. And then when we got Windows, we were like, oh my gosh, so excited. So Mike, you're saying Word Perfect was first. So I wonder why that we only ever had Word Perfect. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, WordPerfect. That's what you said. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I read Word. No, WordPerfect was first,
Right.
and then came Word. And for whatever reason, WordPerfect didn't keep up. Didn't keep up with it,
Right.
because I don't even remember the last time I used WordPerfect. It would have been 20 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe probably longer ago than that.
And
25
WA
years
said
ago.
that it was Word and Excel.
Word and Excel. Yep, yep. So we've come a long way since those
Man.
times. Now, when you
We
look at it,
have.
like what we're doing right here with the live streaming, with
Our
streaming,
phones.
with streaming. I mean, most of us have cut the cable, so I don't even have cable anymore. We're just streaming everything with Netflix, Amazon Prime, and I've got a few add-ons because I like British stuff. So I've got
Yeah.
Acorn and BritBox because I like all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and Mike said Microsoft took over. Yeah,
Yep.
it seems like they did.
Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else?
I don't. We really, really appreciate you guys joining us.
Yeah, this was a lot smoother than our first one. Our second one was a lot smoother. We really, really appreciate you guys coming on and being with us. That really means a lot. You have to let us know. You have to let us know, Mike, when you do one, and we'll show up for sure for you.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in local history in the Philadelphia area, you do other stuff besides just Philadelphia, don't you, Mike? If you're interested, he has a wonderful channel called Local History with Mike, and check it out. You'll love it. He's right now doing a series on bridges throughout that area, and it's really fascinating. So check it out. All right. Well, we're not slowing down,
And neither should you.
And together we're Unretired AF.
AF.
See you next time, guys.
Bye-bye.